Hey everybody, this is A-Town, and you're listening to the Rising Rush Podcast. All right, everybody, welcome to the Rising Rush Podcast, where we talk everything Dragon Ball Legends related, such as news, meta, hot takes, you name it. I'm your host, A-Town, along with our co-hosts, Opsto, Desla, and Grow, and we're going to kick things off to talk about the weekly reset of March 27th of 2024. First things first, we have the Ultra Rising Emperor Reborn. That banner is out now, featuring the Ultra Frieza that revives with a counter. So we're going to do more of a deep dive and talk about his kit, meta, impact, things of that nature. We've also got some new Chrono Crystal sales that are in shop as well. We're also approaching April 1st, so they're also going to drop the monthly sales, so keep a lookout on that. We've got a new login bonus. I've been waiting such a long time. That goes on through the 11th of April. PvP has also reset, and the theme is Splendid Springtime Duel. That's going to be live until the 9th of April. We've also got some new Lineage of Evil Purple Platinum equip for the new released Frieza that's currently active. We've got some new sleeves, Jacko's drawing of Frieza, which are pretty awesome. So if you ever get a chance to check those out, please do. As a reminder, the equipment bonanza that ends as of the 31st of March. So you got about a couple of days per this recording to, get your equipments up and ready to go before that ends and start stacking up your erasures again. The Super Baby 2 banner, that has been changed to 600 Z power. So just be aware of that if you're still trying to summon for the Super Baby 2. That banner is going to be gone through the 10th of April. We also have the Leave It to Pan Operation Energizer. That's going to be active through the 7th of April. Co-op has also reset with a new Frieza Platinum equip that's giving some additional bonuses there, so more to come on that. We've got the Legends Golden Weekend that's happening this weekend only, and if you log in all 3 days, you'll get the coins. You'll be able to exchange for 100 LFZ power, so definitely use that to upgrade your teams. Legends Battle Royale, we've got a new theme starting the 29th of March through the 5th of April, and the theme is going to be powerful opponent only. There's also some additional stipulations on that, so go ahead and check the news and updates in game to see what the details are. Tournament of Power has also reset, so if you completed it last season, log in and get your Chrono Crystals based on your ranking. And then as for the meta talks, we're going to be talking about Frieza, going over the equipment and the impact on what he's done with the meta. And then we also have the March tier list, which each of our hosts have created, and we'll kind of go through Glow's list, compare the others to see how each list changed. And then once we have our discussions on the pod, you'll see the official list so you guys can see what our overall thoughts are. And then we'll talk about Dragon Ball Legends news, and then from there, we'll start off talking about this new Frieza. I personally am surprised that they dropped a Ultra banner so short one another. Opso did make a great point that they did do this last year, where they dropped 3 Ultra banners month back to back to back. So we may see another one coming at this point, but when it comes to Frieza as a whole, I'm going to start off with you, Opsto. What do you think this Frieza is? Do you think he's good? Do you think he's healthy for the meta? What is your first initial impressions for his release?
Oh, he's a great release. We definitely needed a purple to bring a spin to the meta, especially because a purple will actually bring in yellows, which we desperately need because we need more color variety. But all that means is that reds are just going to come in and destroy all these yellows, which is why I think we need a new really good blue unit to come in.
Wow.
So we have like all 5 colors that can just counter each other.
And I think we currently have what's the most recent blue that was released, which was the Ultra Spirit Bomb Goku from the GT saga. He's the latest blue, right?
Yeah, he is, but he's a defensive unit. He's not like an offensive powerhouse that's going to overwhelm you. Of course, he's going to overwhelm you if you only have 1 unit left. But other than that, what other blue unit is going to overwhelm you like Super 17 Gohan or Golden Frieza? There's none.
Look, I'm gonna say it with the base on my chest. Janemba. Janemba is that GOAT that's gonna come in and straight decimate any reds that come forward. And
the thing about that is that Janemba, all that he does is damage. He has little to no utility aside from just damage.
Whoa! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!
I'm sorry. His one time first ult. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Janemba has way more than that gauge ult. First of all, that ult essentially forces your opponent to be stuck in a situation where if you have strikes, you're forced to play the neutral game.
I
Because if a
mean,
Janemba has a
I can
gauge,
just
you
deal
can't
with
really.
it. I can just deal with
Oh,
it.
you run a blast based team, but guess what? I got blast armor.
No, like
His
even
green
though like
card.
even through like the ultimate, I can just go through it.
Well, I mean, you're running
Ooh.
androids though. Like they're like one of the top best teams out there. Like you've got Android 16, which he could comfortably eat the ult.
I dare him to run 16 with Frieza running around. I
I
dare him.
have.
All right, don't worry, don't worry. When the
16's
season
fun.
starts cooking up, you're gonna see what happens to 16. Janemba, he kills Dragon Balls 3 times on green card, so he can already shut down their ki. His main blows up their hand. His people forget about his sub count reduction and his heal he gives the team when the enemy tries to like do a big move against him. Like rush, ults, just doing those, he just reduces the whole team sub count by 10 and gives the team a whole heal.
Well, let me ask
And
this
removes the
then.
enemy buff effects.
Let me ask this then, Obsto, because it seems that this Frieza is great, but you don't feel like Janemba that you've seen give you any issues. What teams have you seen this Frieza being ran on in your experience?
I've run into Frieza once, so I can't really say that.
Well, I mean, it is early. It's only
But
been day one.
from what I've seen from showcases and what he could do, yeah, he's great. And
Yeah.
he's a really healthy release for the meta.
He really is. And more people, I will put money on it. They're going to continue to summon for him and to acquire him and throw him on the leader slot and see what kind of teams that they're able to create, which we'll leave that to the imagination of what that's going to come up with. But Desla, what about your experience with this Frieza? Do you think he's healthy for the meta? How good do you think he is? And how many times have you ran into him in the meta?
So currently I do agree with what Asta is saying, that he's definitely a much needed and healthy release right now to shape things up, because currently it was, I mean, before he came out, it was Gohan Ball Legends, just straight up.
Literally.
As it almost always is. It was that. No. For me, in terms of where I sit with it, it's more so a thing of where I do think, again, it was needed, especially with the character that he specifically went with as well. Because his tags obviously need assistance, like, pretty badly. He was associated with, so there's that.
Please, baby.
Yeah, not so much, not that one. Anyway, currently though, I would say that right now, if you don't have him bare minimum as top 5, then like I'm gonna kind of question your opinion, to be honest. But whatever. Barring that though, like I've run into him maybe like I can count on one hand so far the amount of times I've run into him, and like I really don't think it's fair to give like a concrete assessment based off that from my personal experience. Again, also, Opsa mentioned from seeing him, like, you know, in action during showcase and all that kind of stuff. Like, he does seem very impressive. Currently, I think he's a comfortable top 5 release that was very much needed, for sure. Gives a big thumbs up.
Good stuff. And with his actual overall design, do you feel like they'll continue to stay on this trend on how they design strike-based units with the additional count to, like, blast cards, etc.? Do you think that's healthy?
I think the only reason why that was really even, like, a thing they did is because of Super 17 and Gohan. It was as though it wasn't intentional. They directly called those 2 units out in the breakdown for Frieza's kit on the website. So it was as though it was like, you know, a shot in the dark that just so happened to be a coincidence that magically worked out. Like, no, that it was their intention. Yeah, no, I definitely don't think that'll be the norm. I could be wrong. I think that given how prior to Frieza coming out, like, it was very blast heavy for the top of the line meta, like,
oh, for sure,
that you would always run into, for sure. I would say that it's fine given the situation of the meta prior to when he like even released in the first place. But if it became a trend going forward, I would not mess with it at all. It like it can get out of hand very fast.
Yeah.
So
I'll be the one to say that knowing Legends history, it's going to get out of hand at some point, probably within the next banner or two, because you know how they like to overcompensate a particular battle style. Now that we have this Frieza, which depending on some cases, you can say that they pushed the needle a little too far. Let's see if the devs continue to push that needle to the point where the strike units take over the meta all over again. But Glow, I'm gonna leave the next comment to you, because I know for you did your summons. You actually did those on stream, right?
Yep.
So you got this unit.
In this Droid Han, the Gohan, the 17. Y'all heard me. Y'all hearing it here first. Them units, this Frieza is top 3, maybe 2. JP got him 1. Can't co-sign that, but I ain't gonna hate it.
Oh man! So based on your experience,
right now,
because you've used them.
So I ran him in PvP. Even though it's early season, I'm kind of like, all right, that's not great. Usually the best judge of units. Early season, some people are running ass and trash teams. So me and another content creator, this may end up being a video for them, whatever. We ran some matches in LBR. They kept swapping between 2 teams. Pure droids with MVP, Super 17 and Cell, and Gohan Universe reps with Gohan, UI, and MVP 17. Let's just say mind you, I was running Janemba, Frieza, and Beast. Oh, that movies team, is on par with those teams. Our final record after just sparring, like a quick little sesh, was like 5-5.
And it's out of 10 matches.
And the thing is, Janemba and Frieza as a duo is single-handedly in the game right now the best duo to deal with these Droid Han team setups. It is single-handedly, like, you run that duo, Droid Han is cooked as a team. They are fried. I'm being so serious right now. Like the Frieza having the blast cards up, arts cost up, it's honestly just crazy. Like I'm seeing Gohans with 90 blast, 99 blast. They can't do nothing. Like they're
99?
actually like doing one card 99 because a normal blast card is 29. You add that 60, like they got, I mean, it's either 89 or 99, depending on if another unit gives like plus arts cost too. Usually it's like 89 to 99 arts cost. Like
Wow.
they'll do one card, you've switched into this Frieza, they can't do anything. The Nimba's gonna handle Super 17, and then Beast can just do his drop combo blue like he always does. Like this Frieza, as his kit is, I think straight up is exactly what we need right now. Because the problem with this game is you've introduced Super 17. The only way Super 17 leaves this meta is if droids get 0 buffs for a long time, and or they introduce more units like Frieza that are blue. That just punish blast units, which we would honestly need. The other thing about this Frieza is his green card cracked as hell. It, like, just getting the ability to fill up your gauge and vanish is cracked. The ult is actually high key dangerous as hell. People underestimate how strong that ult really can be. It's uncancelable. It's cancel enemy upgrades on main, and if you've done the comeback right, you get 15 counts of uncancelable cover null, and you reduce the enemy's ki by 50. And
Wow.
it does AoE damage, right? So me and this content creator, he ran UI, Gohan, and MVP. I caught his Gohan with no gauge. I popped the ult with Frieza, who had already like popped his revive before with UI. And I just let the ult rip. Mind you, this Frieza for the first 60 counts is immune to attribute downgrades and stuff. So he can't be debuffed by 17. He can't be debuffed by UI. I did the ult. Now, he has Gohan in. He's thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot of AoE damage if I stay him in. Let me just switch into UI. He doesn't realize UI is type neutral. This Frieza has had a good amount of time to like ramp up a bit. When I tell you UI got one shot and his team was almost everybody was down to 1 HP. It was the most beautiful thing ever, dog.
And this was an LBR?
This was LBR.
Wow.
This Frieza got it like that. His comeback mechanic it's really just better revive. It's better revive. Mind you, I will say this. The comeback mechanic does have some flaws. It does have flaws. The number one flaw I have with it is that it's only as good as the less enemies your opponent has. So it's like the opposite of Cell.
Yeah.
Cells gets worse the less enemies your opponent has. This Frieza gets better the less enemies your opponent have, because this Frieza doesn't lock in and he does not take their vanish when he does this, right? When he loses his when he activates his comeback. So some units can literally just vanish, switch out, and then they're not really affected by it anymore. Or they can just tap out and do whatever. Now how Matt now, opponent has 2 units and you know they just switched into the other one and they triggers comeback, you're in a good spot. Mind you, they like don't have their advantage, but they can't really do a comeback or anything. They can't really fight back. If they only have 1 unit and you activate the comeback, you're cooked. Like Frieza's getting a full combo off of you at that point.
My goodness.
Frieza's gauge it's honestly I'd argue it's a way better Kid Boo's gauge because it fills up faster. Once the gauge is full, mind you, he gets damage, card draw, another level of card draw speed because innately he already has 1 level. So now he's at level like 3 card draw speed. He gets the 70% key recovery, which is actually massive. You do feel it. And -5 to his arts cost. After the enemy's attacks are over, he gets rid of his own attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. So these are like taps, anything. And mind you, this also works when you're going through blast armor. He gets 15, he heals 15, reduces enemy key by 30, and randomly destroys one of your cards and gets a green card. Like I feel like all of that is actually like really cracked and really good. Especially if you can catch your opponent lacking and do all that, like it's really good.
Yeah.
He gets key, reduces the enemy's key and debuffs them when he vanishes and he gets a card. Reduces his own sub count when the opponent uses a blue ult or rush by 5. So if you have a unit like Beast, which I've been saying Beast utility will outage his damage. If they do a big move against Beast, You can just switch into this Frieza. It'll be 1 debuff. 2, you're gonna reduce Frieza sub count by like 9.
Or you can run
Like
like
that stuff is
Janimba. Like
crazy.
Janimba flat out makes it like -10, right? So
With
overcompensate, you could just
Janemba,
bring
it's
him in.
essentially minus 15.
That is true.
It's 5 from Frieza, 10 from Janemba. It's actually crazy. The only flaws I see with this Frieza are, number one, his healing. He really only heals off of the main and off of his gauge getting popped.
Yeah.
So those are really the only ways he kind of heals outside of like also his comeback mechanic. So I think that's like it's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. Number two, he has no Dragon Ball destruction in this kit.
But I
That's
mean,
rare for an LOE unit.
yeah, it is. Because usually
Which is
that's
weird.
embedded in
Yeah,
their kit.
LOE. Yeah, usually LOE units have Dragon Ball destruction or something to mess with a rush. He doesn't even seal rush on his comeback.
Yeah. But I mean, there's plenty other units you can pair him with that can give that support, like Janemba destroying Dragon Balls on green card, or you could run other units that.
Beast on gauge.
Yep. So there's plenty of other units you can just use to give that support. But I'm curious to see if people are gonna run Janemba, this Frieza, and then also Super Baby 2 as a third to really take control of the meta. Because I think that's the devs' idea of what they wanted the team to be anyways for this campaign, right? You think they would have a lot of synergy with each other if you ran like Janemba, this Frieza, and the Super Baby 2?
They do. They 100% do. I think PO right now is honestly in a pretty good spot. You can run Janemba. So what you do is you leader Janemba, you run this Frieza, you run Baby, and then your bench is just normal PO bench and possibly Zenkai buff each other. I think PO is in a good spot with this Frieza. He gives a lot of these teams what they want, which is an offensive unit that can deal with these blast units that has defensive capabilities.
Now
We'll talk about the tier list later.
Yeah. Now let's talk about LOE's impact because of this Frieza. Does this bring them back into the conversation? I'm going to pass the bucket over to you, Opsto. Do you think people are going to start running LOE now because of this new Frieza?
I think LOE needs a little bit more to really, really, really be good, but they're definitely runnable right now.
Especially
They just need like one more like good unit to fill out like 3 units, and then they'll be perfectly runnable. But yeah, right now you can run them perfectly fine. They're just not going to be competing for like the best teams in the game.
Yeah, because you have 2 units right now, which I think is the Go Frieza and this Revival Purple Frieza. I don't know what nickname we're going to call this at this point. But both, I believe, reduce their sub count while they're on standby. So then who's going to be the third? That's going to really help put them on the map, which is why I kept saying that it really needed to be an LF banner and have a 1% sparking to really give support for LOE, because they don't really have that third that can flush them out. I mean, PO is great. I mean, I'm going to run PO as is with this new Frieza, but LOE is still on life support where I guess they're not on life support anymore. They've got some assistance, but it's still not enough to get them to that next level. But do you see a resurgence of the yellow Frieza possibly as the third?
Not really, no. He's just way too undertuned. You could use him, like, say, like we were in a really endurance-heavy meta. You just use him to rush, but that's all he is.
So he's pretty much the rush fodder, the one that activates the rush and goes in.
But otherwise he's just a dead weight.
What about you, Desla? Do you feel like LOE is still not in a top conversation, or do you think they've received some help here?
They're still washed.
Still washed. No team comp? Like, you don't see no blue-purple teams? What about the blue cooler? He can enable him, right?
No. Cooler with the plat is god-awful still.
Oh,
so, yeah. So there's that, and the fact that their only other good unit that's even remotely worth discussing is Go Frieza. And Go Frieza prefers to be the sole, like, main focus on a team comp anyway, which he's hogging the spotlight with, like, Golden, which doesn't really work. So, like, you could run a juiced comp with, like, a shit ton of Zenkai buffs for those two if you want, and it could work fine, but, like, there's just no cohesion is the problem.
Dang. Yeah, that's definitely not cool. But I guess PO is the way to go. What about you, Glow? Like, do you see LOE making a comeback, or is it just still not there?
All right, this is for all my racist lizard fans. I'm going to be the one to defend y'all here. I'm going to be so honest with you. I don't agree with these guys at all. I think LOE right now is in a solid spot. And I'll say this might be a hot take. And the only reason I say this is because, unironically, it's because of their colors right now. You have the best trio for LoE is Go Frieza, this new Frieza, and Zenkai Blue Cooler. Zenkai Blue Cooler's whatever. He's not going to be doing damage or nothing like that. But what he is a crit buffer. We all know how good crit buffs are. All you have to do is leader this new Frieza, run Go Frieza and Cooler, and you just run a crit buff team. You have Go Frieza's gauge to stop rushes. You have this Frieza for his comeback mechanic, and you just have Cooler's the pivot. Like, it's just a crit buff team that essentially has Go Frieza gauge and revival. Like, what's the issue? Like, you can't see that and tell me that it doesn't work.
I mean, them being
It
blue
does
and
the
purples,
damage.
it definitely does
Yeah.
make a little bit of sense there.
Like, you get exactly like Go Frieza. Like, on that team setup, you will run those three. Your bench will be Chilled, First Form Elevza, Broly Chilai. Cooler will be getting 2 times Zenkai buffed. Go Frieza will be getting 4 times Zenkai buffed. UGF will be getting 2 times Zenkai buffed. You're getting Zenkai buffed out the wazoo. Like, come on now. Like if you can't say, oh, LoE's not in a good spot when this is literally red green teams, but with colors that beat red green teams.
Straight blue purple anti. So do you think that's the true anti meta then? The blue purple LoE team?
It's extremely anti meta. I think the weakest part of that team is 100% Zenkai Cooler. But not because like the crit buffs are bad, but because he himself is aged. Like, don't expect him to do damage, don't expect him to tank, even though he's getting the Zenkai benches. The Zenkai benches just make him give a bit of survivability. That's all it'll give him.
Interesting. You know, I might try that out. I'm thinking of a different type of bench though too. I'm gonna save that for a private chat when I discuss with you guys, but I'm thinking a crit based team with that setup might actually be the ultimate if I get you in a combo that's GG type stuff. We'll definitely have to talk a little bit more about that. We've got some additional equipment here for LoE as well. There's the Awaken equipment. What an amazing power level. That's giving up to 6% each for Transforming Warrior Battle Member, which you can equip to Transforming Warrior Melee. Is Super Baby 2 a Transforming Warrior as well?
He is.
Okay, so he can, wow. He can also use that equip. And with Zenkai buff teams, which will really benefit the pure equips overall, the blue purple can definitely put that equipment into use. My question is that
I'll say with that equip, unironically, that a new Awaken is the worst equip out of the equips that came here. It came with this beta download.
The worst?
And the crazy part is it's the worst equip, but it's not even a bad equip. It's just the worst equip out of the bunch that we got.
I mean, we did get some pretty cracked equips though.
So would you agree that BG's equip that they got, the one with the pure, is cracked, correct?
I mean, yeah.
What this Frieza got is the exact same thing without that base crit. He gets special move, HP, base strike, and 18% pure strike.
Maybe they didn't think he needs crit.
Yeah, he doesn't need crit. He just gets HP, special move, and base strike and pure strike. It's cracked on an equip. The co-op plat gives you strike defense, aces for double offenses, and then pures for double offenses. It's literally the previous co-op equip for Super 17. The PvP equip, like I said, the one with the coolest face, it's just an LoE/PO version of the Bardock equip. Bardock and Goku equip. And then the new one that's in the event section, which just gives special move, ultimate 10%, and then both offenses 30%. That's solid. It's a solid base equip. Like, you can, like, the equips they got almost like the only issue with all these equips is that for the units they go on, there's so many good combinations that, like, you could say whatever's optimal. Like, you run almost 2 of those equips on this Frieza, or you run the Shenron equip, the strike-based version, you'll be straight.
Yeah, and LoE already had like a really good line of equips to use anyways, so like this is just more of like icing on the cake, isn't it? So now they even have more stuff in their arsenal, and even PO as well. Like PO's got some definitely good equips they can use, and with the front three being the Janemba, this new Frieza, and the Super Baby 2, you can run like a regen PO bench, and run like that Frieza as lead, get all the buffs. And they all will be Zenkai buff too, right? Or is there, what yellow buffs regen and powerful opponent? Is there one or no? I'm not sure if there is.
For Baby?
Yeah, for Super Baby 2. What would be his...
Your best bet for Baby on PO, your best bet is the yellow Alexa if you want to Zenkai buff him, but that's a blast bench.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then looking at the yellow Demon King Piccolo, I think he's a single stat buffer for regen, right? I think that's what he is. Yeah, he is only a single stat buffer.
Right?
Yeah, 28%. So they might not be the best option for that, but I mean, they still have plenty of other things they can utilize. And Super Baby 2 may not even need a Zenkai buff to really put himself to the next level. But outside of that, I think we're all in agreement that this Frieza has definitely made a slight shift in today's meta. We now finally have a purple unit that is able to contend against this Gohan with a combination of his blast cost up and having the final counter, etc. for the revive. Like this is definitely what the meta needed. The real question is, to what extent? Like, are we going to see some crazy teams, or is it just going to make the meta worse? I think only time will tell at this point. So let's go and move on to our next segment, which is the tier list. So again, all of the other hosts have made their own tier list, but we're going to spend some time today to go over Glows in particular, and then we're going to compare that between the others and just give our opinions if we agree, if we don't agree with his placement, etc. So this is what we'll do. We'll go over the honorable mentions first, and then from you, Desla, and you, Obsto, you can just say agree or disagree with the honorable mentions, and then we'll kind of go through from 10 to 6, and then from 5 and up, we can really get into the meat and potatoes and compare. Starting off with the honorable mentions, Glow has Bulla, Purple Jiren, LF, SS4 Gogeta, the green one, LF, Go Frieza, Purple Evil 17, Ape Vegeta, Gogeta Survival of Pikkon, Bardock from Goku Bardock side as honorable mentions. Agree or disagree?
I just gotta say that my favorite movie is indeed Revival of Pikkon.
I was holding back, so
I didn't want to say nothing. I was like, hold on.
That's
now.
my favorite
Hey.
movie,
That's not the
man.
movie.
movie
Rival
14, bro.
Pikkon.
You
The
see it?
Reborn movie. We know where it comes from. We know where it
Rival
comes
opinion. Oh my god. Yeah, but disagree.
Disagree from Desla?
I know why he's disagreeing. He hates to see BG all the way down there. Fuck
No,
off.
I don't. I mean, I like the unit, but I don't. The Jiren glazing's gotta stop. First off, he is not. He is not that high,
Honorable
bro.
mentions. How's that glazing?
Because he doesn't even deserve that.
I don't know if you should be knocking on top 10. Though. That's a lot.
Some people have Jiren at 8. I hope you know that.
I mean, they're worse than you, then I guess. But
Yeah.
no.
Well, here's the real
How are they,
question.
bro?
Here's the real question. Would you put Omen UI, the purple LF, over Jiren?
No.
I'm thinking about it. No, I'm playing. But
Yo, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't start lying.
At
But
least
no.
UI is doing something.
There is that, but yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I actually glazed the hell out of that the Hellfire 17. Why is he there?
Oh, the
I haven't
Hell
used him
17?
recently.
Under honorable mention.
So I have thought that what's it called? There is a version of droids which is purple red with or purple red whatever you want to run of Hell 17, Super 17, and either you run Revival Cell or LF Cell, and
Okay.
either way you're killing a lot of Dragon Balls because of MVP and GT 17. Hell 17 because of his equips, he's not going to do damage. He's just really tanky, really annoying support, and he just keeps killing Dragon Balls.
So it's a rush
it's essentially
control.
like if you want a team, it's a rush control team. It abuses their own rush while controlling yours.
What about you, Obsto? Do you agree or disagree with the honorable mentions list?
Again, I don't think Jiren should be anywhere near there.
Just not even in the conversation.
Bro came out to do nothing, got his plat to do nothing, got his Zenkai to do nothing.
I mean, in his defense, he does do some rush control because of his mechanic of gaining endurance, healing, and getting the additional damage inflict.
But units do so much damage to him that it doesn't matter.
They just combo him without using a rush.
Have you seen Super 17? Have you run into him at least once?
Oh, I use him.
He's one comboing him.
Well, you just switch him out. Well, I guess, dang. But even how tanky he is, I've seen some wall off some people.
If you rush against the Jiren, like that's your own fault.
Ooh, Jiren? Jiren tanks.
No, he doesn't.
Jiren tanks.
If not against like any good unit.
Against the top 5?
He does.
Against units that came out last year, yeah.
Bro, USB, he will tank. Green Gohan, he will tank.
Oh my god! Whoa, dude, stop the presses.
He will live the UI.
He can take a green.
He has type advantage.
Attacks from a green unit.
This green that's one shot of all y'all. The same green that's one-shotting all y'all? Why would you not run a purple? Why would you not run a purple?
Y'all,
The
if
same
y'all
unit
if
has
y'all
been
weren't tapped
cooking
into this
y'all.
podcast, bro, you gotta listen now. I'm telling you,
Oh,
dude.
this one
He
unit,
can
this
eat
one
a green
has
unit's
been-
attacks, dude.
Let me get this straight. Let me get this straight.
Wow.
So what you niggas saying? Don't run a purple to stop the green unit that's been frying y'all ass.
This is
My
the
man.
epitome. This is the epitome of that one Twitter screen cap of like when someone says like I hate waffles, so then they say in the replies, so you hate
What do you mean
pancakes
you
then?
hate waffle, bro? You're telling me you're not gonna run the
That's a
tankest
whole
purple in the
ass new
fucking
sense,
game?
bro. When did any of us ever say we're not gonna wear purple? Any of us say that?
Is Jiren the only purple in the game?
Purple, my
There's like
the
5 way
tankiest
better
purple in the
options than
game.
him.
Wait, hold on.
Bull-
You're
Bullet tanks
smoking
better than him.
You're smoking grade A.
Bullet absolutely is better than him,
Oh.
and by like a country mile. And at that,
I mean, he has Bullet #1 in the honorable mentions, though.
I mean, I'd say
Deserved.
she's worthy of being top 10. I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely, she's great.
Well, this is interesting.
The only 3 I'll give you is Cell, Bula, UGF. That's it. Cell, Bula, and UGF. That's it. That's all I'm giving you. I'll give you those 3. I'm not giving you GP,
Again, that's
Hell
3
17
good options.
and Go Frieza above him. 3 good options. One is on a different team. Another one you can run with, and actually 2 of them you can run with him.
Let's go ahead and move on to the to the 10 and the 10 up to 6, because we could probably spend all night talking about this honorable mentions list of who deserves to be here and who doesn't. Which again, we'll have our own internal discussions and come up with the official list where we have everybody's input together. But for Glow's number 10, we have, looks like it's a tie between MVP 17 and Red Revival Cell. Opsto, do you agree?
I can see it, yeah, but I personally don't think that Revival Cell is 10 because I've never really liked Revival Cell post Zenkai. Like, all that he's doing is damage and just revive. He doesn't really have any other utility aside from the revive.
What about the power down and the sub count reduction?
30% power down only on ults is kind of meh, and it only applies when he's not even in the field. So, again, like, it's not that good.
And what about?
Plus it's only 30%. It's not like LF17 50% on absolutely everything the enemy does.
Yeah, and is there a limit to that, or is it only 3 times?
It just procs forever, but again, 30% is nothing.
And for MVP,
especially his ults.
But you do agree with him being number 10 at MVP, right?
I'd say MVP is 10 and Cells and honorable mentions.
What about you, Desla? Do you agree with the 10th placement?
Nope.
Not at all. Completely different.
Yep.
All right. We got number 9, the Ultra Janimba. Now, I already know from the other people's...
because they about to start hating on.
They're going to throw the shade.
I will say just quickly about the 10s. I will say about the 10s. Rebcell is there because red, green. Fuck team. MVP is there because Pure George is good.
Oh, you would not like
yeah.
my number 10. You would not at all like my number 10 at all.
Right.
I swear, if you put some bullshit at 10, I don't even want to hear it.
No, go take a guess. Take a guess.
What's your 10, Desla?
What's your 10?
Take a guess. You get one guess.
Is it? Don't tell me it's G4.
No. Hell no.
G4's off the list?
He's not on the top 10 at all. Absolutely not.
Even with all these revivals? Even with this new Revival Frieza?
No.
Nowhere to be seen.
No.
This new Frieza doesn't count as revival. That's the issue.
Oh, it doesn't? So then what is it?
It's just a tree that's come back. It's a tree that's come back.
So is this like indestructible? Is this a new thing?
It's
like
a power
revival, but it's not revival.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then what is your 10? Oh, so we get a guess. Glow, what's your guess?
I already made my guess, and I know it's about to be some bullshit.
Okay, all right. My 10 is the purple LF Saw.
Out of here.
I should have taken a drink of water. Anyway, the reason why I personally have him there is just because of the quote-unquote optimal Android core. He is easily the worst character on that team currently, right now.
Wow, you just be saying whatever.
I'm being honest. He's the worst. I'd say right now that MVP has more value than him.
MVP,
and that's especially because Golden is out right now.
Well, because I guess like most of the teams who be ran on, now that Golden Frieza is there, he would kind of just take that place, right?
I mean, Golden's like the de facto purple to sway away Gohan now.
Yeah.
Like you don't really need Cell at this point. Like he's nice. I say that he still breaks top 10, but like it's not by much because again I think he's been power crept at this point. And it's starting to show.
Wow. But MVP, because I think the last list he wasn't on there, so he has crept his way right back up there because of this purple Frieza.
Well, because of the fact they want to have like a focus on buffing a PO, so you're going to be seeing Super 17 even more now. You already did. So, and again, remember, the only, like, I mean, like, hands down, fantastic answer to deal with 17 right now is just USB. That's it. MVP, however, is a great secondary pick in terms of a blue to deal with him because of all the debuffing he's doing, not even on like on field, on like, you know, on standby, just all the other annoying shenanigans he's got going on, dude. Again, for a unit that is over a year old and without a single Zenkai buff, man, like, he's holding up.
He's still holding up. That's wild. And then Obsto, are you still running him on your Android teams? MVP?
17?
Yeah.
I'm not currently running 17 right now. Right now I'm running LF Cell, Super 17, and Bola. Because Bola support is nuts.
Oh, okay. So
it's
that's
great.
the new Vados. Bola's the new Vados, huh?
I mean, pretty much. Her support is just for everyone.
Gotcha. Rated E for everybody.
Not to mention her key recovery buffs is incredible against Golden Frieza.
So then you would run Bola on lead, and then it's just the Android core, right?
Yeah, that's why I've been running.
Interesting.
Yeah, low key, I may have to lie. Like, I might switch up and like take off Super 17 for Bola because
Super 17.
I mean, I'm being serious because like
no
these
Super
recovery
17.
problems.
Oh,
What?
we just be saying
Wait,
now.
you mean MVP 17?
No. Oh my god, bro.
You got me
Like,
scared for a second.
No, like the red one, bro. Like the one that we all like don't like. Yeah.
You're gonna
what
take
is
off
wrong with you?
Super
Why are you
17?
like this?
You just
I lie.
you mentioned that like he like or she helps out a lot with the key recovery problems, right?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I'll try it. Whatever. Like, Glow, I'm not like here trying to like, you know, like win every damn game, dude. Like, I'm willing to experiment and try shit out because I mean, I haven't tried
No,
that
it's
variant
not
of
enough
GT.
that I succeed; it's that others fail.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll have
God.
to see. We'll have to see.
Well, personally, I think I hear the good arguments with number 10. MVP 17, I can see his placement. Personally, I think that in my personal list, I wouldn't have him top 10. I would have him in the honorable mentions because Ultra Gohan exists. He'll still look at this 17 and delete him off the face of the earth. So, but we'll keep going. So for number 9, Glow has Janemba. I think we know your other opinions on this, Desla and Opsto. He's not your number 9, correct?
Nope.
Personally, I think he may be higher on the list because of just how strong PO is. But I'll save those for a side conversation later. But number 8, Glow has Super Baby 2. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Nope.
Yeah, he's not gonna agree with.
I'm gonna hear a bunch of notes. The whole list.
Tonight, bro.
What about you, Opsto? Do you agree with Super Baby 2 at number 8?
I actually have Baby at 9.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Super Baby 2 is slowly creeping up on the list. Love to see it.
Well, that's what happens when we're starting to get less reds.
Yeah.
So he can actually, you know, exist.
And we will see what the Blues are able to do now that there's competition for Ultra Gohan, just gatekeeping that element as a whole. But number 7, we have the Red Beast Gohan. Do you guys agree with number 7 placement or no?
I do actually.
Ooh, okay. There's different.
What you agree with.
What about you, Opsto? You agree?
What, with Gohan at 7? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So he's still in the top.
Good job, Glow. You got one good one, man. Awesome.
Everybody agrees. He's number 7.
Everyone clap.
Hey, number 6, we have the LF Purple Cell final counter.
I already know what Justin put that shit. Don't
Here we go.
Hell no.
We got a hell no. What about you, Opsto?
I actually agree with Glow.
Okay. Interesting. And I agree with 6 as well.
That's because one of Super 17's best friends is that Cell. They work together so well, and if you pair them with Bola support, how do you lose?
2 people could eat the rush. Yeah. Oh, and then also when there's a man down, like you get the additional chance to feint on the blue card too, which is always nice.
You have feint on Bola's ult as well.
That is true. Double feint support. All right, now we're gonna get into the controversy nitty gritty, and this is where we'll kind of go through Glow's opinion on why the number 5, and then we'll kind of critique and give our opinions on that spot. But number 5, we have Ultra UI Goku. Glow, tell us why. Why is he number 5?
So before I had this UI like 8 or 9. Now I have him up to 5, and the reason is that now because Red Green has to deal with these this Frieza and Janimba or this Frieza and Go Frieza setups, these stronger purple blue setups,
Mm-hmm.
red green has gotten worse. However, with more purples now, UI is also going to see more play alongside this Gohan on Universal Reps, where people are running Gohan, MVP 17, and UI. So that's going to be UI's like main team now. And UI still has the lock-in ult. He still has good tools. I'd honestly argue low key because of the same reason that he still has the value as a yellow to like stop these purples and like still do good damage. Especially if he has like a dead ally, him having the ability to go type neutral and ult, they can't be canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I'd low key move Baby up.
So
Because
number
Baby
7.
has like that same kind of value
Interesting.
against purples. So I'd low key move Baby up to like maybe 6.
Oh, to 6. And then
Yeah.
Beast Gohan would go down
I'd
to
move
8.
Beast and Cell down. I'd move Beast to 8, Cell to 6, 7, and then Baby to 7. I mean 6. Baby.
I see.
Like my only issue with Baby is that GT is crowded right now. It's the same reason why G4 is kicked out of top 10. G4 isn't a bad unit. GT is just really crowded. But if it's gonna depend on how the meta shapes up. GT's core will depend simply on what is the current meta. If the meta that like they'll run whatever GT's core will be what's needed for them to deal with the meta. It'll be whatever they need. They'll just rise to the occasion. That's
Yeah.
really it.
I mean, they definitely have a lot of tools they can just reach out and use for each scenario. Like they got a current yellow, a current red, a current blue. All their colors are set at this point. But as for the rest of the group, we'll start off with you, Desla. Do you agree with Ultra UI being at number 5?
No, I'm joking. So it's honestly pretty funny you mentioned earlier that you'd move me up to 6, because guess who I have in 6?
Yeah, baby.
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah. So I think it's not a secret anymore at this point. Whatever. After getting to use Baby myself personally, especially in this meta right now,
Mm-hmm.
post Golden Frieza's release, wow. Like, I mean, dude, all it took was just one major ultra to really shift things around and like make these dumbass double red comps like the fuck off. And man, he can finally cook, bro. Oh my god, he's fantastic. I'm telling you right now, dude, like the only reason why I'd have UI higher is just because he has both. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like that's really the only reason why. And his team options are obviously
Correct.
like more plentiful, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with him being at 5. Yeah.
Interesting. And what about you, Opsto? Do you agree with Ultra UI being at number 5?
I do actually, yeah.
And interesting. I agree with that placement as well. Just with the overall team placement that he has, the utility that he offers, and then now that purples are being more prevalent in the meta, now that we have this Ultra Cell, we've got the Jiren from time to time, we've got Bulla, and now that we have this the rival Frieza, he kind of shuts them down essentially with these lock-in if he like comes in off of a combo and tries to snipe with the ultimate. But Frieza still has a little trick up his sleeve where he has his final counter and he comes back from his revival mechanic, which is a new mechanic that doesn't trigger off of Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's platinum equip, which is really interesting. So number 4 though, we have USB Ultra Spirit Bomb Kid Goku. Why, Glow? Why?
Despite like this Frieza doing stuff to stop these greens and giving these blues room, MVP is still a thing. Beast is still a thing. Revival Cell is annoying. He's still gonna be here. So you still need a strong and tanky blue to deal with these units. So USB is the best tank to 17. The best offensive unit to deal with LF17, Super 17 is Janimba. He's the best offensive unit to deal with him. However, this GT Kid Goku, he is as good as how many enemies your opponent has left. The less enemies they have, the way better he gets. He snowballs like crazy. It's not even funny. Like if your opponent has like one ally dead, yeah, they're losing another unit simply because of USB.
Mm,
Him having the ability to do the lock-in type neutral ult is just crazy. If you're last man standing, they just pop main and just press ult and you lose.
interesting.
Like, you just auto lose. And so he's there simply because he's the core. He's really like the harder GT. You can't run GT without him. right now he's just solid. He's just doing his job. He's kind of always hovered since his release between 6 and 4.
Yeah. Kind of like the jack of all trades that gets better as the opponent loses units. So he snowballs fairly quickly. Opso, do you agree with him being at number 4?
I do, yes.
Interesting. And you, Desla, do you agree with him being at number 4?
Nope. I have him a spot higher.
Oh, you got him higher. You got
Have
him
him
at
a
3?
spot higher.
I
What?
do.
What do you
Finished
have,
before.
Frieza?
4.
Yo, you're walling. Nah, now you walling.
What do you mean, bro? No, so here's the reason why. Right? 2 big reasons. One, you mentioned it before. Golden Frieza's team situation's not the best. I mean, it's really not like much of a, astute observation. It's just a fact. So, like, his synergy with team building clashes, unfortunately, with how he wants to be built. And really, the only good comp that I can think of that, like, he works the best on, like, quote unquote, optimally, is like him with Janemba and Baby. That's about it. Otherwise, like, you're not really gonna run him anywhere else where he's gonna be popping the hell off and feeling as best as he could be. So him being restricted team-wise in terms of options is hurting him a lot. And B, again, like I mentioned before, dude, like USB is the only blue who I can, without a shadow of a doubt, throw in front of Super 17 every time, and I guarantee you, I don't care how many times he blasts me in one combo, I lose maybe a fourth of my health max with like a 78 hit combo. He's just that guy. Like, he's fantastic right now. So it's like you mentioned, though, he is the heart of GT at the moment. He's fantastic, and he makes it to where he completely fucks over any chance of a comeback that the enemy team can have. He is the epitome of if you fuck around too much, you're gonna find out. Is essentially just how it is in terms of how he was built. So I think right now, given that again, Super 17, it's not really a secret. I don't really think that we need to act as though we're gonna have the wool pull over our eyes and be totally bamboozled over the fact that Super 17 is still the best unit in the game. But like the fact is that hasn't changed even with this Golden Frieza coming out, because he helps out the teams that he's on as well. So on top of that, he's a purple. He's not blue. So there's not really a direct color countering going on there. But regardless, like, again, USB's value it's borderline essential if you do not want to rip your hair out when dealing with Super 17 cards. I'm just being real.
It just makes it just more easier and tolerable to deal with.
It makes it like actually like it trivializes Super 17. I'll be honest with you. Like, it makes it to where, like, dude, I'm yawning. I'm waiting for this to be over, bro, because he's tickling me.
Wow.
Like, he's doing nothing to USB at all. He is what Jiren wishes he could be. I'll just throw it out there.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Anything to throw hate the Jiren.
Absolutely. Any Jiren glazing, I gotta find a way to hate, bro.
Y'all
There it
are
is.
ridiculous.
And
yeah.
well, y'all gonna think that it's controversial for me, but I'd switch Ultra UI and USB's places and have him at 4 just because of the new Revival Frieza at 3. But
It's actually where I had him originally. I originally had USB at 5.
Because thinking about it, kit per kit, like, this UI locks you and you can't switch on him. He's doing supreme damage. He's got the gauge that can dodge like blue cards and any kind of like, he resets the field on strike. He can also dodge blast cards with his unique gauge. Like, he does a lot. And then the teams that you just slap him on, like Sun Family's cracked out, and it's pretty prevalent from what I've seen running the meta. But again, everybody's points are valid with how we have this USB. I just personally haven't had any trouble with USB from my experience. I mean, there's a couple of times where the snowballing did take place, but I'm more scared of Ultra UI than USB. But so number 3, we've got the new Frieza. He's just came out. It's been 24 hours. And he's already number 3. Why?
Sir, I'm telling you right now, this Frieza is him. He's that nigga. I ain't gonna cap.
He's that guy.
Like I've been saying, we droid on K in this. I'm telling you right now, the joy it brought me to just nuke Gohan's with his ult was genuinely amazing. I can't even fuck with you. Like, bro, this shit actually had me almost in tears. This shit was so good.
This man really got emotional with it.
Bro, this Frieza does like so much. Just the damage, the fact that he essentially, long story short, I've already talked about this good this Frieza is. But what this Frieza does is he essentially punishes blast units heavily. It's hard for UI to start a combo against him. If MVP has not triggered his gauge, it's hard for him to combo him. Same thing with Cell or Ultra Gohan or even USB or anybody. If you have a handful of blast, you're like this Frieza has the blast armor, he has the blast debuffs. Like what he does is essentially he is a strike based unit that just punishes blast units, and it's amazing.
He's the savior of current meta. Like, welcome Frieza, the the Droidhan killer. That's literally what he is right now.
He's a Droidhan killer. It's amazing right now.
Desla, do you agree with that? With his placement at number 3? I believe you said you had him at number 4, right?
I do, yeah. I mean, bare minimum, you can make arguments all you want for his placement in terms of like want to like nudge him up a spot or two, but like I think bare minimum he like has to be top 5. If you don't have him there,
you should see where JP put him.
Dude, I don't even.
But where did JP put him?
Did you say 11?
JP has him number uno.
1.
Oh,
JP
1.
has him number 1.
The number 1 spot.
Dude, I thought for a millisecond you said 11. I'm like, wow.
He's an honorable mentions. What?
I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, no.
1? Hell no. Anyway, yeah. So, again, it's like I just said, though. Like, it's a thing of where you can argue him in really any place you want to from, like, 5 to 3, really. It's what it comes down to. It's merely just preference. Again, I personally prefer being able to wall off other 17s, Super 17 specifically, as, like, best I can, and USB does that job every time without fail, so you can't go wrong with them. But yeah, no, I do agree that Frieza is bananas. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah.
And there's one comp specifically that he's bananas on, but I'm not telling you all about it. So
keep it a secret for now until
that's what
the
I'm
lights
saying.
start showing. Then
Yeah,
hey,
like, oh well.
We'll timestamp it.
No. I'll tell him what the comp is when he's bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'll tell him.
Like, you guys messed up.
Yep.
That's too funny. Opso, what about you? Do you agree with this Frieza being at number 3, or do you have him at a different place?
I am at 3, yeah.
Interesting. So we've got a matchup there, and we've got Desla got him at number 4. You know, personally, I would even put him at number 2 with, you know, Gohan being at number 1, just going for kit. I can understand at this point, he is the answer, the savior to this blast-based meta. He is the Drohan killer. But once this meta starts shifting back to strike base, a lot of his kit that gives the additional costs against blast, etc., it's going to start tapering off a bit just based off of his value. But I mean, he still has a lot of great things in his kit. He goes neutral on revive, doing the additional damage. He's got Supreme that nullifies endurance, that destroys your bench. His green card also restores his vanish, and it gets even more potent as you lose party members. So he can really become that last man standing unit to really take the match back. But as it stands right now for this current meta, 2, possibly 1, just solely because of how blast potent this meta is. And he is literally the answer to that, in my opinion. So number 2, we have the Ultra Gohan as number 2. Glow, why?
So this Gohan is 2. For now, he could drop lower, but he's never getting higher. Essentially, this Frieza just punishes this Gohan heavy. Like, he is so anti this Gohan, it's not even funny. If this Gohan tries to, like, last man standing, tries to pop his comeback, like, he will go from 100 to 1 so fast. He will, like, lose all his HP. It's not even funny. This Gohan is always on edge because if this Frieza catches him with an ult, the entire team is done for. Because of the AoE, it is like, it's not even funny what this Gohan can actually do.
That's funny.
Like,
is Frieza?
I mean, what this Frieza does to this Gohan, yeah. What this Frieza does to this Gohan is crazy. But do not get it twisted. This Gohan still got the hands. To anybody else, he will fuck you up. He will one-shot you. He will be annoying. Don't get it twisted. He will catch you lacking.
So essentially, if you're not running the Frieza, Gohan's placement has not changed. You're gonna have a rough time.
If you're not running the Frieza, if you're gonna be in a rough time still.
Gotcha. Opsto, do you agree with Ultra Gohan being at the number 2 placement, or do you have him at number 1 or lower?
I have Gohan at 2, yeah.
Okay, so that mirrors up. What about you, Desla? Is he number 2 or number 1 or lower?
He's 2.
So it looks like they're all in agreement. Again, you guys heard my...
And then we got Sama at 1.
Yep. The super terrorists. The number 1. So I'll give you some time to kind of explain your reason. I mean, I don't think it's going to change from our last list,
I
but
don't think we need to explain why terrorism, while Al Qaeda is number one. We don't need to explain this.
He still does the same thing. The lock you from playing, the oppressive green card, just the combo potential with just throwing out the blast. All of that's there. Which again, this Frieza shuts that down when he comes in, making the cost dang near 99. Deza, do you agree with Osama bin Laden as number one?
Yeah, bro. Osama's just, he's too OP, man.
Yeah, he's still doing what he's doing. What about you, Opsto? You still agree the super terrorist is number one?
I love Osama bin Laden.
Oh yeah, you're Android mate, so you run
Yeah,
him
of course I am.
But yeah, personally, I feel like because of this Frieza, he could be tied at number two. Number one, I may have to just for the current meta climate, Frieza shuts him down. 99 costs. I'm sorry, super terrorist, you're not comboing. And then if you get him down to
you
1
say
HP,
that. You say that until the super terrorist uses a single card and just wipes that buff.
If he can, then he's got the number one spot. But I guess that there's more time to tell, right? Because this Frieza just came out. We're 24 hours in. There's still plenty of time for the meta to shift, for people to acquire him, for teams to be built and see like how his impact can be overall. But just off of the initial impressions from what we've seen in the showcase videos, kit per kit, etc. I mean, if you don't wipe the buffs, he stops the combo. And with his team comps having a blue, it's again like Janemba and this Frieza are like peanut butter and jelly. You got them together and you're pretty much solid. You could just run whatever third you want. But again, for the viewers and the listeners out there, definitely stay tuned for the official Rising Rush podcast tier list, which will probably be out within the next day or so as we have our internal discussions, compile both of our lists together, and come with our overall impressions of what the meta is as of the end of March of 2024. And then you'll be able to speculate yourselves. Do you guys think we got it on the nail in the head? Or are we reaching here? Did we cook? Or vice versa? So that is it for the meta talks. Now on to the Dragon Ball related news. If you guys are into the Xenoverse series, they just released a new trailer today as of the 28th of March, where they released a Super Villains DLC. Looks like there's a lot of cool stuff on there. Even like a Goku Black variant of like Vegeta or something. Couldn't really tell if that was a thing or not, but it definitely looks interesting. So if you got Xenoverse, you're still playing the game, the DLC may be a good thing to check out. And then last but not least, we did get some additional information on the last panel that was corrected on the Dragon Ball Super manga. That was the last scene, which is Piccolo waving goodbye. That was literally the last scene that Akira Toriyama edited, which was pretty fitting because of the events that took place. So for individuals who do read the manga or you do have copies of it, you can definitely place some sentimental value there for that manga release as they take this hiatus break to catch themselves. But that is it for this episode's podcast. So as a heads up, we did create a Discord. Shout out to all the individuals who have worked tireless hours on getting the configuration, everything set up. So thank you for that. Round of applause to that group. We've also got a tournament that's currently ongoing right now.
Reggie, shout out Zama.
Yeah.
Shout out Aries.
Shout out to all those individuals. You guys have done an amazing job with that. And we've already got members that are already in it. Conversations already surrounding about the meta. So if you would like to go ahead and get the Discord link, I'll put that in the description. Yes, we do. We got a tournament that's ongoing, which we're going to try to do monthly or semi-monthly, depending on how the cadence comes up, which, us content creators will put in money into a pot, and then you guys are able to play. Currently, it's a 32 bracket player limit right now. So, you get to play for the grand prize. And it's always fun to just be immersed with the community and show your skills as you play for cash. But again, you'll get the links on our social media accounts, and also we'll put that on the social platforms such as YouTube and the Spotify description. So if you want to link it to Discord, be able to check that out. But that is it for this week's episode of the Rising Rush podcast. Tune in next week where we have our special guest for April of 2024. I will be able to dive into more news, meta relevancy, and see how the meta evolves. But until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing week.
See you.